are we? Today, Rosie and I are going to do a video and let you guys know a little bit about ourselves. I will start, Rosie, and then we'll go mingle back and forth after if you like. But I think that I would like to let my audience know that when I was young, one of my influencers in my life obviously was my mother, who was completely the opposite of my father, which then gave me two people that really influenced me in different formats. Along with that, I did have brothers and sisters, but I think my brothers did more to influence me to become who I became. And being that I had five older brothers, I think I was more of a tomboyish person than anything else. But my mother and her unconditional love for people, for everyone, really made me understand what true love was. Where my father was just, forget it. He lived the moment, not even the day, but the moment. He made me learn that life is just for a moment. As for my brothers, I think, especially the oldest one, he put structure. I think the structure that he had in his life made me become structure in my life. But I did have a good friend of mine that around the eighth grade, her family was very religious. And that's how I turned into faith. I remember that I was somewhat, you know, whatever happens today happens. But once I met her, and she would always read books and then go to church every Sunday, made me want to be more like her, and that's where I found God. I think that was the time that I can truly say that God was in my life, and once I really understood that there was a faith there and that I could do this and I could do that, I felt that God was really the one I needed to follow. So this was eighth grade. So as I grew up, I was very confused because of my lifestyle. My lifestyle was to be a field worker and not have to go to school, but I loved school. I really enjoyed school. So I'm kind of like letting you guys know who I am and how I became who I became before these great authors became a part of my life as well. But I think that graduating even early at high school and wanting to continue my education, I knew that I did have a chance, and I did. I mean, going to very nice colleges. I think you and I went to the same one, at the USC, and then CSUN, and then HMI, and made me the person that I am today. So I am thankful. I am thankful and grateful for life. I'm grateful specifically for God, who has, I think, destined us each for our own destiny. And now that I've become who I've become, we're teachers. We're not doctors. We're not psychologists. We're not psychics. We're just teachers trying to teach you what we learn, and we are willing to teach you what we have put ourselves into these books. So maybe somehow, some way down the line, you can say, you know what, I remember this lady, I remember this Rosie, and maybe you'll learn something. So with that said, I think, I think we're in the right path. What about you?
I agree. It's like, reading the books that we have read has really changed my whole outlook of life. Um, and in a lot of very positive ways. I too I grew up in a large family. A large family that my mother held together with strong arms. I learned my work ethic from my father. He believed that you had to give everything to your job because a job well done was what would pay off in the end. So I learned my work ethic from my dad. My mom, oh my God, my mom was very patient, very loving, and like I said, she's maintained the family together. Um, and then when I went off and moved on to go to college, I learned independence from my roommates. They were very independent, and I was not. I had lived the sheltered life of my home, you know.
Wow.
I had my parents, and I had 5 older brothers and their wives, and basically I was very protected. I was very sheltered. So I learned independence from them. Um, I learned unconditional love from my little sister, and because she was loved.
She was loved.
And I think that um, USC kind of opened my eyes to what I thought the world was, but it wasn't. And it really did open my eyes, and I started to see that some of my thinking was a little off, you know. So I started to change there. And then, you know, later on, I read Louise Hay's, and I learned a lot about myself in the sense that, yeah, it's like I was holding myself back. And it also explained a lot of my aches and pains that I didn't have before,
Yes.
and I learned why I had them. So that was very eye opening. And then, you know, I learned a lot through becoming a teacher, which was what I really wanted to do. I learned a lot from my students. I learned a lot from the friends I made there, and it was really something worth going through. And then of course we started reading books on self-help and all that. And I think that I learned about my paradigms, and I had a lot of them. Have a lot of them. I'm still working on quite a few, and I understood why I got these paradigms. And you know, we have no one to blame because everybody just the best they can. And my family and my parents especially did the best they could with their paradigms, which of course I inherit a lot of them, and I'm trying to change them now. And one of the great things I think that I have learned lately on the new book, the new author we're reading, is about faith. I was born a Catholic. My mother made sure that I went to church every Sunday for, you know, the whole time I lived at home. And then when I would come back from the university, well, if I was there on a Sunday, I was going to church. So, but you know, it was just going to church. Church was something that I did. And yes, I listened to the sermons, and half the time, since we had to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, I wanted to fall asleep on the priest. So I really didn't understand a lot, even though I went to catechism and everything. I didn't really understand until much later when I started to read the Bible and start to question things about the Bible. You know, like one of my first questions to the priest was like, how could people live 300 and something years? You know, that seemed like impossible to me. And now, you know, after a lot of the books that we're reading, I understand how we shorten our lives.
Right. You don't mind, Rosie, let me stop you right there, because you're talking about religion and about how, because we're around the same age, and our parents are very similar, wanted us to know about God, when really it was more religion.
Yes, it was God.
Yes. So growing up Catholic as well, and going through every church, I mean, I'm not just, you know, I believe in God and not so much religion, but I'm still Catholic. Because, you know, I think it's up to us to understand the difference.
Yes.
And you're right. I mean, you know, I remember growing up going to Catholics, to Mass. It was like, oh my gosh, is it almost over?
Oh, yeah.
Is it almost over?
My big thing was, do not sit next to Mom because she will pinch you.
And are we going, I mean, I was just waiting for that Eucharist time, so because I knew that once after that, all I needed was the blessing, all I needed was but you know, I don't think we really went to how we go today. I mean, at least I still go today, and I'm thinking.
And I'm really thinking about what the sermon is about. Yes, I never thought about the sermon. There were a few times when, you know, I would sit there and say, oh my God, that rock really hit me.
Yeah.
You know, the Father would say something, I'm like, oh my God, he's throwing rocks at me. You know, but you know, that wasn't every day.
Yeah.
And now that we're especially the new author we're reading, I mean, she has really opened my eyes to what faith is and how I can build my faith. And one of the important things I learned is that you have faith every day, every second, not just when you need something, not
Right.
just when you're desperate, not just when you're in trouble, but faith is true when it's always present, when you're always thinking of things. And also, it's like faith is being a more perfect person, you
Right.
know?
Right.
If you're going to walk in faith, you're walking a very, very tight road.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a big change. It has changed my attitude. It has changed um, the way I think. Because faith is not just how you behave. It's how you think, how you behave, how you say things. It's a lot of things that I just didn't know.
Yeah. I have to say that, I grew up in a very rough time, in a rough family, uh, not wealthy at all. And I remember that very early in life, I found God and I would ask why, this is not why I came. I know I can do more. I know I can have more. I know. And I think that through that talk, faith came about and answers came about and ideas came about. And I think that's what has helped me through all my life, because there is not a doubt that if you have faith, if you believe in the one upstairs, and that is our true boss and true judge and true God of all, and King of all kings, your answers will come in different formats, but it will. And I'm just grateful that I had a mother that was so patient, that gave me some of her patience to just kind of take it easy and wait the time. And I do not at all regret everything that has happened to me, bad and good, because the bad kind of leaded me to the good, and the good is just a reinforcer. And we just inspire, at least my family, my grandchildren, especially my son, to grow with faith and to have everything, because everything is everything. And I'm talking about money, I'm talking about home, I'm talking about the material things, but more and more and more his path in, his faith that he is capable of miracles. And so that's who I am, and I will continue to share everything, because every day is a different day.
True. Yes, every day is a different day. And I think I would have benefited from knowing what I know now. And I think that's my hope, is that maybe with our videos, someone will say, oh my goodness, let me change this, or I really understand that. And, and have a connection.
Yeah, yeah. So we do truly appreciate you listening, and hopefully you do listen to the very end of our videos. And we appreciate you greatly. And we just want to say, from all about you, all about me, we are grateful and thankful.
Yes, very much so.